Hello, welcome to Coding Vlog. So today in this video, I think I would like to continue what's left in previous video to in on getting started on React Native. So okay, for more ado, okay now we will talk about props and state. So in React Native, there are many components components that can be customized by these props and state. So this props is how we customize the components with different parameters, blah 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 blah. You can read more in React Native documentation here. So I think the this React Native documentation is quite good, and yeah, you can try using this or whatever you want, and then change this parameter in here, change this variable whatsoever. So maybe in this video I think we will continue from what we did before. So what we did before is we create our custom component in here with if you watch my previous video on getting started, we create a custom component that we call in this app class. So what props do is you can say like maybe you can uh, passing other variable or parameter into your component, into your custom component in here. So maybe let's say we mm, title the title, or maybe yeah, title, whatever you want in here, the parameter in the value on the parameter. So maybe coding vlog. So this component is now have a props or properties with title consists of this coding vlog, and then you can call it in here. So to print or call the value of that props is this dot props title. So this title is in here. So now this will show the props coding vlog, and you can makes you can make many property in here. So maybe like name, mm, my name is coding vlog, and ah, and so on, so on, so on. Your so maybe you can make it like this to make it cleaner. Maybe it's uh, your taste code. So now you have this title, and then you can make other, and you call this name in here. See, now that's maybe a simple uh, property that uh, will be passed into your component, because this will make maybe passing parameter into other screen, or maybe other navigation. If you use React navigation, you can uh, pass this parameter into your uh, other screen, or navigate into other screen with this parameter. So maybe this is the list of user, or whatever user, and then you pass an ID, and then you catch the ID in here, and you uh, view the details of that particular ID. Okay, maybe you can get rid of this. Okay, that's a props. Maybe it's not complicated. It's just so simple. But later, maybe if you use Redux, it will be a lot complicated. But maybe if you watch my video, the first, I use the Redux navigation native base. You can see on that how these properties do working in that Redux. So with no further ado, I think that's for the properties. And then uh, next is state. Okay, this is maybe like more, yeah, making your application more dynamic, something like that. This is where the React Native is so powerful. If you make a one page website, or you make one page application like this. So if you read in here, there are two types of data control component: probes and state. Probes are set by blah 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 blah. For data that is going to change, we have to use state. So these properties could not be changed in React Native. So these properties is always be table. You can set these properties in this component. So you have to use a state. So maybe if you can see in here, it's blinking. So the state of the uh, view and height is changing over time. If you see in here, this state is showing preview state, blah 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 blah. You can see in here. So maybe if I make, oh sorry, we make a simple state parameter like that. So the first is you have to make a constructor to use this state. So you have to use a constructor method in here. You have to call this super function, and then this dot state. This dot state is an object, so you have to make an object in here, and then you can create it. Content. Oh, okay. Let's see. The content is this is a content. Okay, and then to read this content state, you just change this is this dot state content, and that it is. This is a content. So this state content. So the content is stored in the state of this component, and this can be changed by uh, this dot set state. So in this render method, we can simple explain simple example how to change this state. So this dot set state of this content, this is a change content, maybe like that. And then if you reload, oops, okay, you can call it in here, sorry. So maybe you will need to use this method in the component. So component will mount is called before the render function is called. So every time the component call, it will call this method. Component will mount and set the state before the render is render call. See, now it's changed to this is a content to this is change content. So the state is now changed. this is change content. So now we have change content. So maybe if this set state is maybe used on how you when you type, maybe if we have a field, let's see in this documentation. So every time if you how to make an input, so just scroll in here and then get this text input, copy paste, something like that. So now this state content, you have to make the input. Maybe we have to make this simpler. Maybe we can use set interval. So this set interval function is uh, will be run after interval of time. So this function will be called after 1 second of time, interval of time. So let's use the ES6. This is maybe like in JavaScript function. Maybe it's the same like this. This is all JavaScript a way to call a function, but now we use the ES6 method. So set interval, call this function. This function is setting the state, set state of that particular object in the state. The object is content, and maybe change this is content after 1 second. So now if you run this will be changed after 1 second. See, so this state is changed after 1 second of interval of time. Okay, that's it. And this is what happened if you dig deeper. So the first component is called it construct a constructor. It's setting its states into this object content with value of this string, and then before this render function, render is rendering the view in here. It called this set interval. So after 1 second, the content will be changed into this. The set state of the content will be changed by this oops, and then yeah, render in here. So this is how to call. You can use the curly brackets with this state and this state content. So that's it. And this render will be render every time the state change. So if you see in the console, maybe you can see in this console log change. Render. You see in here, you can see that this render function is always called when the state is changed. So this state is always changes after 1 second because we call this set interval, of course. So maybe if you want to make this more dynamic, you can set this into no, this is yeah, second. You have to make a variable called second with value of 1, and after you change the state called second plus plus, so it's added always add the second into 1 2 3 after 1 second. So let's see if this works. Yeah, this is working. So this is where the dynamic view of the React Native. So this is why the React Native is so good for making a single page like this that can render every time, not reloading, but always re-rendered after the state is changes. Okay, maybe that's all. If you really want to go deeper of how you use this state, you can always go into the React Native documentation. It's the explanation is quite good, but not so good and not so detailed. But you can see the all big picture in here. The state is showing text true, so if this is showing text is false, the text hide. Yeah, so they changed the props of the text. Oh, sorry. It show the text if it's showing text true and it's not true. It's showing the empty space like here, like this. So yeah, this is maybe yeah, this is similar of what we create in here. Okay, so I already talked to 2 minutes now. Okay, props state, and yeah, I think that's all for this state function. Or maybe if you are curious about maybe how to uh, get the text input changes, how to get the text input. So maybe we can grab this. Going to here, paste it in here. We don't need the style, I think. Value this state.text. You have to make this in here because yeah, because this state is always initialize sorry, initialize in this constructor. So you have to make a text state in here. So every time the text change is this in this particular text input, it would be it changes the it will change the text state in here. Okay, get rid of this component will mount. I think get rid of this as well. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. See, text input. Oh yeah, of course you need to import it. Text input. Okay, this is the text input. Oh man, it's working. So now, what you need to do is to show it in the console. So you just console.log this dot state dot text. Oh, reload type. So you can see in here the state is now every time we type in this text input, it will be stored in the state, and the state is updated by this set state. So on change text, this will be called every time you type in here. So maybe you can show it in text. you can show it in your screen like this by output this text. Yeah, get rid of this console. Ah, my god. Okay, now R. See, this is always and this will be stored and you can use it to submit it into a form or whatever you want. Yeah, and maybe if you get if you have a submit, and you just have to submit into your API, submit to API with all the this dot state. So this will submit to API all of this object in state. Yeah, something like that. Maybe you can show it later on the next video. I think I think that's all for the state in this video. Hopefully on next video we can working on networking, fetching data from the API and show it in the screen. I think I've already show it in uh, other video, previous video, but it's already using Redux. It's quite complicated, and maybe next video we make a simple API fetch from backend. Okay, so I think that's all from this video. Props and state in the React Native. You can always improve yourself in this particular subject. Just read documentation, Stack Overflow, stuff like this. It's already in there. Okay, that's all. Thank you for watching. If you like, just drop a like. If you dislike, drop a dislike. Whatever you want. Subscribe if you want to see other video, next video of mine. So yeah, thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.